Hey guys, it's Christian Senior back from CNH Malls again for another informative service video. This one we'll be dealing with a machine I had in front of me here, partially disassembled. This is a Troy-built self-propelled lawnmower specifically. This will be a Briggs engine typical video here. The reason I was making this video is because a subscriber wanted me to make one of these ones because he was having a similar issue with his machine. It wouldn't start. And he wanted me to make a video about this specific issue because he had the auto choke on his specific engine here. The auto choke on most of these Briggs, the actual newer Briggs, they have a auto choke mechanism on the right hand side of the engine over here. And as you see on this machine was previously worked on by somebody else other than us, and they did not put the shroud completely on the machine properly, because the auto choke mechanism, as you see right here, is jammed up against the actual side of the engine right here, and it is not functional. See how it's stuck over here? This auto choke mechanism was not installed properly. I should say, it was not installed properly, and the shroud was not put down properly on top of it, because I'm assuming the person who worked on this machine before us did not verify the auto choke mechanism was clean and clear before they actually put the shroud back on top of the engine, because the banjo auto choke mechanism on these machines is very delicate, and you cannot mess with it, and you cannot bend it over too far or anything else like that, because these things are only really thin, I think real thin aluminum or steel on here, and they can be damaged quite easily. So be mindful if you take your machine apart and you're doing a auto choke fix on these things or something else out here. This auto choke is extremely delicate on the exhaust side, and it can be damaged beyond repair, and the only way to repair it would be to replace it with a new auto choke mechanism right here. So that's why I always recommend taking it to an authorized place to repair it, or if you're going to do it yourself, be extremely mindful when you take the thing apart and you put it back together, and make sure the auto choke is in a vertical position all the time, and it is not going to be hitting on the bottom of your shroud right here in any kind of way or shape or form, because if it does and it somehow gets messed up and it gets jammed in the forward position, it will not be able to choke or unchoke the engine properly, because your auto choke goes forward and back on here like that, and if it's in the incorrect position when it's supposed to be in the correct position, the machine will not start sometimes, or it'll hesitate and will not start. Because the guy brought this machine over to me primarily because he would start it up and leave it run for about 10 or 15 minutes, cut his grass, and go move some I guess unload the bagger on there and start back up, and the thing wouldn't start. And we found out he had a two-tiered problem on there, and half the problem was the auto choke was not functioning properly, and he had debris in the gas tank. We actually test ran this machine over here for about a good one solid hour off and on, and we were able to duplicate the auto choke was not functioning properly, and the carburetor was indeed surging quite severely over here. We checked the coil out. The coil worked perfectly fine for us over here. We even put another coil on there just for verification, and it worked perfectly fine as well too. So always be mindful of if you're going to do a job yourself out there, just be mindful if you're going to replace the auto choke for any shape or reason. Just verify it's in proper position before you put the cover on, and whenever you do put the shroud cover back over the top of the engine, do not let it hit and contact the auto choke mechanism on the exhaust side of the engine, because if you do and it somehow gets damaged, it will limit and hamper the functionality of the auto choke going over to the carburetor, the actual arm. So just be mindful of that, guys. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot, as usual, feel free to contact me here. Just drop me a message, and I'll try to explain it in a more precise or better terms if you need some kind of more thorough explanation. So I'll see you guys, and have a nice day.